Hi, this is my homemade table saw which I made using just a simple Black & Decker work saw. It has tracks for crosscut sleds and other jigs, and it has a parallel fence. So stick around to check it. I made this is underneath there is a rebate which I'll show you in a sec, which my Black & Decker fits into, and I just have a little screw in the back here, and what this does is it gives me the advantage of making zero clearance inserts. So if I pop this up, you can see there is my saw with the blade and the motors underneath and everything, which I will show you in a sec. And I cut this rebate so that way, just using little bits of MDF, I can slot them in and I can make them either zero clearance or a bit wider so I can tilt the saw. And the screw at the back is just to keep it nice and tight and to stop it from popping. Now, like the idiot I am, guys, I was covering up the microphone on the iPad when I was videoing this. So basically I'm just showing the way I have a hose clamp to keep the switch pulled down so that way the power stays on, and it's connected to an extension cord which has a switch on it so I can switch it on and off safely. And this just makes it a lot safer instead of having to plug a plug out. Now if I show you back down here again, it's just mounted with some wood blocks, and you could plug in dust collection if you wished. Now the way you adjust the height is the exact same as if it wasn't mounted on the wood. You just loosen the lever, drop it down to whatever height, and then if you want to bring it back up, you just lift it up again and tighten it. And what the piece of wood are actually mounted on is a Black & Decker Workmate with the tops off. And the way I made it was just using a 4x2 sheet of chipboard and a 4x2 sheet of thin MDF, and I cut a thick slot using the router in the chipboard, and when this is mounted on top, a thin slot in the MDF, and these are actually parallel to the blade, and I'll show you a good trick for doing that. So the way I made sure my slots are parallel was I basically just got a level like this, put it up against the blade, clamped both sides, and that my router could run against it and it would be perfectly parallel. So these slots are perfectly parallel to the blade, and you can use things like crosscut sleds, like this little one here. You can make things like miter gauges, like this one here. So if you have just a board that needs a bit thicker for other purposes, like a big wide board, or you can even make things like 45-degree miter gauges. Now this is for my old table saw, so it doesn't fit on the tracks of these, but I could easily make another one. The fence is two pieces of melamine, which I think you call in America, or just laminate, so it's nice and smooth. They're pocket screwed together, and it just rides parallel, and I'll show you the way the blocks work now. So after taking it off my homemade table saw, I can show you that one end is rebated, so that actually sits under there, and this was from an old vise. So when you tighten it down, it comes out. It's just a simple hole drilled and threaded, and it will come through and it will actually tighten against the saw itself. The other end just has a block that's just screwed in and it's flat, and all this does is when this tightens down, this pulls against the saw, and that's what clamps it down. So as you can see, it just simply slots onto the saw, rides parallel to the blade, and then when you want to tighten it, you just twist this in and it pulls it up parallel to the saw. As you can see, it's just clamped down and it's really good and parallel to the blade, and it really stays in place. It's really nice and sturdy. And what I'll actually be building soon is a portable base so the saw can be brought around the place nice and easy, but it's actually quite light. And this is my router table as well, and my router is just under there. What I found to be really important when building a homemade table saw was to get a really nice blade, so that way your saw actually cuts well. So this is a Freud Pro, I think it's only 24 teeth, was the best I could get for this small, because my circular saw is quite small. If you had a big circular saw, you could probably get around 8 centimeters of depth and cut. Mine I can get around 5 or 4.5. So it's good enough if I just show you there. I know it'll be hard for you to see. So what I'm going to do now is cut some MDF for you, cut some mahogany, and cut some pine, just so you can see just how well this homemade table saw works. Let's have a look at these cuts. So to show it's parallel, as you can see, it's about just under 7 centimeters, and at the top it's just under 7 centimeters, so that is perfectly parallel. Then the edge we cut on the saw, it is perfectly square. So you can see there is no light gap, there's no light coming through. It's perfect. Alright, so there's a look at my homemade table saw, guys. Personally, I think it's the best that I've seen on YouTube, because a lot of them are quite small, whereas this I can actually use efficiently as a table saw. And just remember safety in the shop, guys. Make a few little different push sticks, just so that way, remember safety is always first. And remember, a clean shop is a safe shop. If you have any comments, just shoot one down below and I'll be sure to answer it. Please subscribe and drop a like, because it helps the videos a lot. And remember, and I was meaning to say to you, I won't be doing that 25 likes for table saw thing or anything like that again, because it's not fair to people who really want to see a video. So thanks for watching again, guys. And remember, a clean shop is a safe shop. Thanks for watching.